about to point out a block in the back on this play. Just let the young man live. Go get it. He runs about 185 yards total on this play. It's not great defense, not great end-of-line pursuit, but great job, Jacoby Harris.
Yeah, they got a great field. That's great. Field turf. 53 1/3 yards wide. Learn how to tackle. What kind of stupidness is that? They missed them twice.
Finally, in the CFL, Ottawa's R.J. Harris keeps his concentration after juggling the ball before scoring the touchdown.
Big game in the CFL. Ottawa playing against Saskatchewan. Wide receiver, of course, scoring touchdowns. That's not anything new. Wide receiver making a great catch. No, that's not new. Wide receiver trolling the opposition.
See, so that's Saskatchewan's patented celebration. Old heads would call it the Street Fighter Hadouken. Young folks would say it's the Dragon Ball Z. But that's usually what the team in green does when they score TDs. You got red and white giving it to them right there.
Literally no idea what any of those words were.
Well, our audience did, I hope.
Time for drawing a blank. 7 teams in the NFL are boasting a 2-0 record. And though it's important to start the year off strong, not all of those teams are like the others. So, CC, the best 2-0 team in the NFL is blank.
L.A. Rams, one of the teams we thought would be one of the best teams going into the season. We were excited about the personnel, the collection. Even more excited to hear they were trying to trade for Khalil Mack. They trying to win this year, and they are a good football team. Exciting to see. One of the most creative offenses I see in the NFL. Sean McVay is a special head coach.
There's a lot of things people can argue about the NFL season 2 weeks in. One thing that cannot be argued about, the Rams are the best team in football. They have outscored their opponent 57-0 over the last 6 quarters of football. They have not suffered from that lack of an outside rush defensively, and every other part of their team is an A- or better. The Los Angeles Rams are the best team in the league through 2 weeks, hands down.
All right, on the flip side of the coin, there are 7 teams that sit at 0-2 on the season. And with only a 10% chance to make the playoffs, it's important to decipher the best of the worst. So, Nick, the best 0-2 team in the NFL is blank.
My man Chris Carter changed my opinion on this. I'm going to say the Seattle Seahawks, and here's why. They're 0-2, but they haven't played at home yet. Bobby Wagner, KJ Wright, Doug Baldwin, 3 of their key guys all have been out with injury, and another one of their key guys, Earl Thomas, he wasn't a part of training camp or preseason. So they haven't been home. They've been without key players. They still have Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll. For all those reasons, I think they have the potential to be the best team that started 0-2.
I'm going to stay here in New York, the New York Football Giants. I believe they'll come up with a game plan. Pat Shurmur, interview with the media, didn't tell him anything. Love that. I believe he can come up with a plan. You know the reason why? Last season, the season before, what was the weakness of the Minnesota Vikings? Was their offensive line. They were able to generate plenty of offense with backup quarterbacks. So I expect him to be able to fix that offensive line there for the G-men.
All right, with just an 1/8 of the season in the books,
that's a free one.
No problem. Thank you.
There's still a lot of football to be played, but plenty of teams have already exceeded expectations and set the bar high for the rest of the league. CC, the team that has been the biggest surprise so far is blank.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I've watched both of their games. I watched how Dirk Cutter has called plays with Fitzy as the quarterback. Within the first series of both games, they bombed them. They threw a touchdown pass early on a post. Safety was aggressive, vacated the middle, and they took advantage. You don't see NFL things. Normally you tell offensive coordinator, your coach that, you're like, we'll get back to it maybe in the second half. No, they're getting right to it from the beginning. Tampa Bay, most surprising. 819 yards passing by Fitzy. Who knew that besides his wife? Even his son didn't know that. Son wasn't even going to start him in fantasy football.
That's right. You're right about that. Team that had one of the toughest schedules start the year and one of the biggest unknowns at quarterback, Kansas City Chiefs. They start the year on the road against 2 teams that had Super Bowl buzz in the Chargers and the Steelers. This quarterback had played 1 career NFL game. It was Week 17 last year. For them to not only be 2-0, but to have the most prolific offense in the league right now, that to me is, even if you were optimistic about the Chiefs offense, as I was, the way they played is a huge surprise. So I say Pat Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs.
All right. And we will end with some college football. Number 1 Alabama is off to a blazing start and are now overwhelming favorites to win their 3rd national championship in 4 years. So, CC, the team with the best chance to knock off Bama is blank.
I believe it's going to be a battle. Alabama's going to crush a lot of teams, and with Tua throwing the ball, they got a really special offense. Best offense, I believe, in Alabama history. I believe they will struggle with a Georgia team potentially coming off that Auburn game in the SEC championship. But I believe the team to beat them is the Buckeyes. And the reason why, because they have the quarterback. Dwayne Haskins, he has shown in the limited starts, the first 3 games, that he is a superstar. Going to be a great college player. And with that offensive line, they have 2 proven 1,000-yard rushers in the backfield. So you got to be able to attack Alabama, not only run the ball, but you got to be able to throw it. Haskins and my Buckeyes, I believe, are the team, even though Alabama will struggle with one of those SEC games.
I only disagree with C in this regard. I don't know that they're going to struggle in the SEC. As long as Tua plays at this level.
Yeah, they're going to get some guys in.
All right, so the injury's a real thing. But as long as Tua's playing at this level, this Alabama team's unlike any of the great Alabama teams because they can crush you offensively in addition to the typically dominant defense. But if I got to pick a team, I'm going to say Oklahoma because we have seen if Alabama loses, it's usually because the other team's got Johnny Manziel, Deshaun Watson, a special player at quarterback, and Dwayne Haskins is an excellent prospect at the next level. Kyler Murray is a special collegiate football player, and Oklahoma, typically a bad defense. This year, I think a decent defense, particularly by Big 12 standards, so I'm going to say OU.
All right, let's take a break. Coming up, much more on Alabama, Ohio State, and the rest of college football. Joel Klatt joins